Okay, I'm going to be doing this video basically just to see if I can get through a video without coughing. I've been away for a little bit. I went on vacation for about a week, and then I caught something kind of nasty on my trip back, and I'm still kind of fighting it off. But I'm kind of sick of seeing the 4 weeks ago on my YouTube channel, so I'm going to update it. But I'm going to do something a little different. I'm not going to do the typical reviews. Instead, I kind of just want to share something with you, one of my favorite books of all time, which is the Notenki Memoirs by Yasuhiro Takeda. And as you can probably guess by the cover, it's to do with Evangelion, but it's not overly about it. My fandom of the Evangelion series pretty much begins and ends with the manga by Yoshiyuki Sadamoto. I'm not a big fan of the TV series. I think it's fundamentally flawed. The movies, don't get me started, except Death and Rebirth, but only because they actually reanimated certain scenes to better match the manga. But like I said, I love the manga, so of course when I was looking around Borders for the next volume of the proper series, or even of its spin-off, Angelic Days, which I actually really enjoyed, I came across Notenki Memoirs, and I thought, well, I wonder what this is. And Yasuhiro Takeda is one of the executive producers behind Gainax. He's literally one of the founding members. He more or less discovered Hideaki Anno. And it's really all about how the company started, how they literally just began organizing sci-fi conventions at a university. All, 20-somethings, no thoughts of ever making an animated film or series or anything like that. The most they were concerned with at the time was getting Hideaki Anno to produce a 4-minute animated promo video, or in this case it would have been a film, shown at one of their conventions. And just to give you an idea of just the hilarious antics that go on, they talk about how expensive it was going to be to produce. They were going to get professional animation cells, but the cost of the film would have skyrocketed to something like $60,000 in 1980 dollars. So they just said, no, we can't do this, it's not going to work. Till one of them said, I know what to do. And so he bought one animation cell, one professional animation cell, which I think they even mentioned cost something like 100 yen a piece, which is about $1. So $1 per sheet, so just think about that. Buys one professional animation cell and takes it to a vinyl fabrication yard, goes to the foreman and says, can you make something like this? Foreman says, yeah, we can make something like that, and effectively brought the cost of the thing down to, I think, well below 4 figures just by using slightly inferior materials. Of course, it backfires on them. The cells tended to melt together, the paint peeled off, but still, they got it done, and the video did its job. See what I mean about the illness. But the book itself is also mostly about Takeda's personal life, his struggles kind of after college, and even during college, these periods of lethargy he talks about where he just feels like, what do I do now? Which, I mean, I read this when I think I had just graduated college, and yeah, I was reading it, and I just thought, wow, I thought I was alone. I thought I was feeling that sense of loss. And yeah, for a book that features Eva 01 on the cover, it actually doesn't make a lot of mention about Evangelion, which is kind of what I liked about it, because it did focus on other things about Gainax, particularly one of my favorite anime series of theirs, Gunbuster, because they also talk about Hideaki Anno, his decision to shoot the last 2 episodes letterboxed and black and white to cut down on animation space. We're only animating a third of the frame, but he still shot it on color films. The whole thing was just way more expensive than it needed to be, and how he just got a lot of fish shaken at him for that, years before the end of the Evangelion series. But I'm kind of making it sound like it's as much about Hideaki Anno as Takeda-san, and maybe it is, but it's only because basically Takeda himself is summarized at the end of the book in pretty much one sentence by Hideaki Anno, and it's basically something along the lines of, he's not a particularly talented person, except that he has an ability, which might be called a talent, to attract talented people to him and get them all to work together, so which is really I mean, that's what a producer should be. You know, a producer should be able to micromanage several talent pools all at once and get them all to gel together. So yeah, it's a little tough to find. It's published by ADV. ADV's manga branches, most people know. The Evangelion manga itself is published by Viz, and I think they hand it off to somebody else. This is an out-of-print version of Volume 4. But anyway, Notenki Memoirs, ADV Mangas Division. ADV, of course, as we all know, closed its doors, sadly. And as such, this book is probably going to be a little tough to find. But if you can, go check it out. Notenki Memoirs, Yasuhiro Takeda, one of my favorite books.